couple of years ago, I was working with a regional support element of Special Forces. We typically were running weekly sessions with them, doing different variations of mental skills training. To say that they're a skeptical group would be a gross understatement. However, if you can demonstrate true value for these kinds of individuals and how it can benefit them in their job, or what we would say enhance their performance, then they're going to lean forward and implement what it is you're teaching. They're always listening, always listening. They just also have very, very good BS meters. So I was working with a guy, many individuals, and we're going to call this guy W. He came to me about 8 weeks after we've been working with his RSE, and he said, when we first started, I didn't really believe any of this, and he used a word I probably won't use here. But I figured I'm here. I may as well give it a try, and at the very least, I'm going to get in a good workout. So I'm telling you this because I just took my language test and I scored higher than I've ever scored on my OPI before, and I've been in almost 20 years, and I attribute it to the skills you taught me. That actually means a pay raise for me. So I chuckled, took the backhanded compliment, and 6 months afterwards, I was talking to a different friend of mine who actually knew W from a previous life. He's also a major in Special Forces, and he says, I hear you know this W. I said, yeah, I work with the RSE and some of his guys. And he says, no exaggeration, Mike. That guy is the best operator I've ever met. He told me you are the best at what you do. I hope you realize what a compliment that is. I was stunned because I had no idea the effect that I'd had on W at all. So the skills covered in this 30-day program are the same that we taught within Special Forces. The delivery is clearly slightly modified. But this morning routine is a combination of those experiences, those exercises, and the successes working with SF, as well as hundreds of hours of research with what professional athletes, Olympic athletes are doing as well. Just like with diets, just like with workout regimes, there are infinite combinations of how to do a morning routine and or yoga, meditation, etc. This is just a great gateway, a great entry level, and what we found to be a great place to start, not just our opinion, but what the literature is stating as well. So the challenge now on you. Do you think you can commit to 20 days for improving you? I certainly hope so, because otherwise you probably wouldn't be listening to this video. Soldiers sometimes talk about a whiffing. What's in it for me? Tell me exactly what you're telling me and how it's going to benefit me in my world. Maybe in this case it's going to be the whiffy, so what's in it for you? But the chief aim of this morning tap, as you can see here, is to join all parts of the self, the mind, the body, and the spirits. It's going to prime you for a successful day. When the physical poses are combined with the controlled and deliberate breathing that you learned in previous days, then you're going to have the ability to remain sharp, focused, and have a better potential for getting into the zone of the flow. This happens when the mind is highly focused and the body is relaxed yet prepared, and this can vastly improve not only your flexibility, strength, and balance, but again, your overall well-being. It can be key in preventing injuries. The old, if you don't bend, then you're going to break, like snap muscles. So this routine is going to prime your mind to the high level of concentration. As many of us know, it can also increase your ability to concentrate, which is essential for your performance, not only in practice, but in games. Many players at all levels have said that yoga is responsible for their ability to focus. It increases their energy levels and improves their situational awareness as well as mental agility, while helping to maintain their right or effective state of mind while they're on the field, again, whether it's in practice or on game day. I haven't seen a specific or a comprehensive study on this, but I'd make a very strong argument that all successful elite athletes are doing some version of yoga, meditation, and or mindfulness activities. I do know that all the coaches that I spoke with personally from around the world, various countries at what we call ASP, which is the Association for Sports Psychology Professionals. We have an annual convention. They all told me that they were leading with yoga, mindfulness, and meditation when they work with athletes. If I were a young athlete again, I'd be doing yoga and meditation at least 5 times a week. All right, so what are we talking about? What exactly is MorningTAP? As you can see from this slide, and you can go to Facebook Sports Psych Mike or in our workbook and print this out. Take a picture of it if you need to, but this is the basic MorningTAP routine. Just standing still, you inhale and exhale slowly, the 4 to 5 second count from the diaphragmatic breathing or deliberate breathing lesson. So your arms would be at your side as you're standing. You reach overhead as you inhale, your arms slowly moving up with the 4 to 5 second count. And then exhale, your arms go from overhead back down to your side. Then with your feet together, you put your hands overhead. You can do an inhale, and then you can inhale again, but really stretch to the sky. So try and reach your hands as high as they possibly can go, and then reach a couple of inches higher with your right hand, a couple of inches higher with your left hand, and you're going to really feel that start to elongate, stretch, and wake up your spine. Then go down into the child pose. If you don't know what these poses are, I've included some picture in the next couple of slides. You can easily go to the good old Google and take a look and research these poses. So a child pose is just a nice relaxing pose to, again, just with normal breathing, 22 seconds. I do a lot of these with 22 because the tie-in with veterans and the opinion that a veteran dies, or 22 veterans commit suicide every day. So 22 has a special place in my heart, unfortunately. Tabletop and the cat pose are basically an inhale and exhale pose where you have a flat back or an arched back, and then you're going to arch your head up and then you're going to roll your spine back and forth. Downward dog, I think everybody at this point knows that pose. Again, hold that one. You can alternate right and left heels off the ground if you'd like. Really try and push your chest back to your feet when you're doing the downward dog. You're going to come up into what's called a vinyasa. You may need to go to the picture for that one. You can transition to the cobra pose, the runner stretch. Again, there are pictures. Warrior 1, Warrior 2, the reverse warrior. 22 seconds may seem like an eternity per leg if you're not used to these stretches, but over 2 or 3 days you'll get used to the fatigue in your legs and holding a static stretch for a little bit, or pose I should say. And then let's end with a mountain pose. It's also called a power pose, where you're going to stand strong. Your hands can be on your hips, it can be on your side, they can be straight out like Ann Cuddy's work if you want to follow that, but make sure you incorporate good diaphragmatic breaths with this as well. All right, as promised, here are some pictures of the common poses. Not all of them are on this slide. You can see the child's pose. Actually, they're labeled child pose, downward dog, vinyasa, the Superman, the runners, warrior 1, 2, reverse warrior, and the mountain pose. That is just, again, one version of the mountain pose. And there are many different combinations. You can kind of play around with these, but the experts in the field, especially experts when it comes to athletics, and some of the core strengthening and energizing poses, if you will, in the morning. The experts are saying this is a very good routine to begin the day, and also a very good routine for beginners or intermediate advanced people as well. I added this slide here with additional poses just in case some of you may be more advanced than others. These are additional poses. You can Google a variety of poses. This is actually a routine. You could start from the child's pose in the beginning and move from one to the next of these routines. Some of them, actually, many of them are very difficult for me. So you can adjust accordingly to your fitness level, your strength and flexibility level as well. I am also partial to P90X. Tony Horton, in my opinion, runs a very good P90X yoga session. It is super, super difficult. It is pretty long. I think it's 60 or 90 minutes depending on the version that you do. But it has a lot of wonderful poses for athletes and leads. It seems to be a little bit more macho for some of the male athletes to be able to follow. So it's almost like a strength routine. And I promise you, you're going to be worn out when you get done with it, and quite possibly sore the day after if you choose to do that. So these are just, again, additional poses and options so that once you get used to the MorningTAP basic routine, you can advance as you see fit. If you're listening to this and you're following this 30-day program, you've got some kind of performance that you want to get better at. Maybe you want to be better as a human being, which is fantastic, but losing is the easy part. Anybody can show up and lose. Winning is not easy at all. It takes a lot of work, and it begins with a very simple routine like this. You have to, first of all, be committed. Then you have to be disciplined enough to wake up, to commit yourself to that new routine and give it a full effort, and then have some kind of accountability. Well, I've created that for you. I've taken some of the guesswork out. It's a 30-day program for 23 days. You're going to create this morning or follow this MorningTAP program, which is, it's spoon-fed for you. The old adage is that it takes 21 days to form a habit. Well, here you go. 23 days, follow MorningTAP. You will see significant differences. If you don't, shoot me a message, shoot me a text. If you live close enough, I may even buy you lunch because of the guarantee. But I've been making this promise for a few years now, and I have yet to have anybody tell me that it hasn't worked. So I feel very, very confident that if you follow this for 23 days and you wake up and put in 5, 7, 10 minutes of effort every morning, it will benefit you. Want to know more or find worksheets for this exercise and many, many more? Check us out on Facebook at Sports Psych Mike or at www.p3perf.com. Thanks for your time today, and I look forward to seeing you around next time.